T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, main engine start, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis to assemble the framework for the science laboratories of tomorrow.
The Space Shuttle, the world's first reusable spacecraft and a program that lasted 30 years from first launch to final landing. Over so many years, a lot of things happened, but in this video we'll cover a brief history of the shuttle. We'll take a look at the two failures, and then talk about the Canadarm, a Canadian innovation in space. A not very commonly known fact is that the Space Shuttle was not, in fact, the first attempt at a spaceplane. The X-15, which underwent test flights between 1959 and 1968, reaching space in numerous times, was the first attempt. After Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon and won the space race, NASA started looking for a new direction to take their program. This took shape in the idea of a shuttle, space station, and future missions to the moon and Mars. Through many years of development, the Space Shuttle Enterprise was created in 1976 and underwent 5 test flights in 1977. It was carried up to altitude by a Boeing 747 and then released, and where it glided back. The next shuttle to be made was the Columbia, which took flight in 1981 and becoming the first space shuttle to successfully reach space. As time went on, NASA continued to build more space shuttles, in total 6, and 5 of which actually made it to space. The Enterprise, the Columbia, the Challenger, the Discovery, the Atlantis, and the Endeavour. NASA had 135 successful takeoffs and 134 successful landings. The program ended with the final flight of Atlantis, which took off July 8, 2011. While the Space Shuttle program did have a lot of success, there were 2 catastrophic failures. The first of the failures was the Challenger, on January 28, 1986, less than 5 years after the initial flight of the Space Shuttle. The launch had already been delayed multiple times, either by weather or by mechanical issues causing them to miss the launch window. The launch day was colder than the Space Shuttle was rated to take off in, more specifically for the O-rings in the boosters. NASA was warned about the issue with the O-rings and were advised not to take off because the O-rings had not been tested in such low temperatures. During takeoff, there was a leak around the O-ring before it sealed, which led to the breakup of the shuttle 73 seconds after launch. To make matters worse, the crew was likely conscious during the breakup and possibly even after.
So the 25th Space Shuttle mission is now on the way after more delays than NASA cares to count. This morning it looked as though they were not going to be able to get off.
1 minute 15 seconds, velocity 2,900 feet per second, altitude 9 nautical miles, downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
The second disaster happened with the Space Shuttle Columbia. Unlike the Challenger disaster, the Columbia actually made it to space. In this case, a large piece of foam fell off the external tank and hit the wing of the Space Shuttle. This was later shown in an experiment that this would have caused a 6 to 10 inch hole in the wing of the Space Shuttle. Neither the crew or the ground controllers had any concern about the fact that the foam fell off the external tank, as it had happened on numerous occasions before this. However, this was the first time that it struck anything important. It was concluded that the debris falling off the external tank was the main cause of the crash. The Canadarm was a major contribution to the Space Shuttle program by Canada, as the name suggests. It is a remote control 15-meter long arm resembling that of a human. That is, if people were 100 feet tall. By that I mean it has a wrist, an elbow, and a shoulder. The Canadarm first launched in 1981 on the second launch of the Space Shuttle Columbia. The Canadarm inspired further Canadian robotics on the ISS and the Canadarm2, which is a couple meters longer, so imagine the arm of a 115-foot tall person.
Okay, the arm is out for the first time. She's been deployed, working great.
Anyways, now you know just a little bit more about the Space Shuttle. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.
main gear touchdown.